Hello gardening friends, welcome to Backyard Basics. I'm John Drumgoole. Well, the season's beginning to change right now. We're going to go into the fall garden season pretty strong real soon here. Maybe you're already planted many things. But in the winter, we take care of our tools. We do different things. We put linseed oil on the handles. We need to renew our tools from the spring and the summertime. Let's take a look at how we take care of some of them. And one of the ones that we use a whole lot of are the pruners. And these are some really nice pruners. When you talk about pruners, you can find some that actually have the parts that are replaceable on them. That's real important, because otherwise, if you take something like this and it gets bent, then the next thing is you can't use it anymore. In order to have a really sharp blade on any of these, you need to keep them sharp. And so you can see right here is the edge on this one. This is a bypass right here. And so what I'm going to do is you take these little stones. There are many different types of these. You can hold them like this when you're working on it, and you always go in the same direction. And you keep up the same angle that used to be there. But you can see, you work it a little bit. Sometimes there's a nick in there from the season. We're getting a nice edge on this thing. Now you have to be careful because they're really sharp. The other thing is, sometimes you've got a little rust, as you can see right there. There are several tools that you can use to do that. I like to use a steel brush like this, but there's steel wool, and there's these little sanding blocks that are pretty neat. See, it's cleaning up very, very quickly right there. There we go. We're getting some of that out of there. I think before I go too much further, you want to put some glasses on so you don't get any of the chips or the powder of the steel in your face. Here's another way of doing this. These little sanding blocks. And you can get any burrs off of here. When you did that sharpening, there could be a burr right there. And so that cleans that up too. One of the other things at this point is to go ahead and put a little oil on there. And so these little oil cans are really efficient at just putting a few drops in there. It doesn't have to get all over the place, although some of it will. And whatever does, you can go ahead and rub into the rest of the tool. Look at that. Now it's moving very nicely. Look at how nice that is. A minute ago it was kind of slow, and so I will take something like this now and go ahead and put it on the blade, because you have that fresh area that you just took a little steel off of, and you don't want that to rust. So there you go. This is nice and fast. And even the spring sometimes, these guys can rust also. So you put a drop of oil on that. Look at that. Really nice, really fast. So any of the tools that are like that, you go ahead and sand them off and give them a nice little sharpening right here on the edge. That little stone is perfect. Here's one of the other tools I showed a minute ago. And once again, you can get in there and clean these guys just like that. This one is a little small for using the big file. So something like this is perfect. Once you've got all of that off of there, once again, just a drop of oil, and these things are in very good shape for the season. Here's another tool that really needs sharpening too. You may not sharpen your shovel very much, but this is one that is also included in the seasonal sharpening. And so you'll take a file, go down it, and then take the burrs off, just like the other ones. And now you've got a nice sharp shovel to work with too in the fall. Well, for Backyard Basics, I'm John Drumgoole. Make sure to take care of your tools. I'll see you next time.